What's going on, my friends? Foxtrot Productions here, and I'm coming to you with a bit of a Project Bricksburg update. It's been quite a while since I've made one, and basically the reason why is because there hasn't been any progress. In fact, I've kind of been doing a little bit to pick up, and when I say pick up, I mean you can kind of see that I've taken out pretty much all of the road base plates except for, these ones right here, kind of piled them up. Reason being is because, and I've mentioned this previously but never really elaborated on it, basically I've decided that I no longer want the layout to be on the floor for a few reasons. The biggest one being it's too much of a pain to have it on the floor, having to crouch down just to get to everything. Like, it's great because the only real great thing about it is that, I'm not really limited to space as far as, I don't have to create like a little standing hole so I can reach something. I can just walk right over to it. But that is where the issue is created, where I have to crouch down just to access something, and it's just so much of a pain. Plus, it was so much better having the city on a table where everything was just kind of right in front of me. So I decided that once I can afford to, I'm going to make the switch to IKEA tables. Now, the idea that I have in mind, I've kind of toyed around with a few different layouts for having the city on a table. I would come up with one and I would really like it, and then after a while I'd notice some kind of flaw that I didn't like, and then it would force me to make a new one. I'd like that one, and it would basically just be a cycle. I'm currently on maybe my fourth or fifth planned layout for what it would look like on a table, or on tables, I should say, and perhaps the 11th or 12th layout idea overall, which is a little bit wild. I almost just fell because this plywood board just buckled, and that's another thing that I would not miss about having tables, because this plywood buckles quite a bit and some of it is warped, which is bad for the layout and keeping everything together. So yeah, basically, yeah, as I was saying, once I can afford to, I'm going to get a bunch of IKEA tables. I've never gotten anything from IKEA before, but I've seen quite a few people with Lego City layouts, especially the better ones, get IKEA tables and put their layouts on them. So I figure, why not just do that? And the nice thing about it too is that the layout that I have in mind actually allows for me to stand up in the middle, be able to access all points of it, and still have a little bit of room along the edges to be able to get around. So yeah. Another thing as well, I do have the potential to expand upon it, if there's enough room, which I do think there will be enough room, but to be safe, I'm keeping alternate versions of the layout, or just the base idea, and then keeping the expansions as like an alternate thing where, if there's enough room, which, like I said, I think there will be, especially on this side, because, there's a pretty big walkway right there. All I'd have to do is just rearrange the fence. The concern would be expanding over this way, because the layout already expands, or the idea I have for the tables would expand beyond where this plywood goes, but at the same time, the tables I'd be working with are no more than 3 base plates wide. In fact, they are perfect for Lego base plate dimensions, those being 6 base plates by 3 base plates, or 60 inches by 30 inches, because each 32 by 32 stud base plate is 10 inches by 10 inches, which is pretty awesome. So yeah, I really think this will work out. Yeah, so I might make a separate video. I've said this before. I might make a separate video of me going over the planned layout in detail. Probably gonna save that for when I can actually start getting the tables. It is a little bit disappointing that I came to this idea, or came to this decision now versus middle of last year, when I started to order the plywood, which was about $250 to $300, which that money would have really come in handy if I didn't spend it on plywood, just to turn around and make the decision to not use it. Speaking of the plywood, once I do get the tables, all of this will go, although I am very much concerned as to what I'm going to do with all of this Lego while I am making, in the middle of the transition, I should say. Mainly because, I'm gonna be picking up the plywood and also the floorboard that I have underneath. That is all going to go. Well, the floorboard's gonna go. I don't know what I'm gonna do with the plywood yet. I might just move it to the other side of the basement. I really don't know what I would do with it. And that is not really my concern, but the transition it'll be tough for sure. And also I most likely will not be getting all the tables at once, because I did the calculations, and even with all of the expansions in mind, which is about 3 or 4 tables worth, I should say, comes to about a little over $500 before, shipping, because I don't think I would be able to actually transport go to IKEA and transport those to my house. I might be able to, I don't know, but it would definitely be multiple trips. So yeah, it'll be little by little over time, just because I can't afford that kind of project right now. Probably will soon, now that I am working again. I got a different job. But yeah, so that is basically the gist of what is going on. But yeah, I'm fairly satisfied with the layout idea I have in mind. I really think it's going to be one of my better Lego City layouts, and it's actually, I will say, a major part of it is actually going to be almost exactly the same as a previous layout that I've had on a table, back when I had the city on an air hockey table. So it's gonna take from that and just kind of expand around it. It's gonna have a decent sized train loop. It's not gonna be anything impressive. It's not gonna have, or at least right now, it's not going to have any train yards or anything, because I'm trying to conserve as much space as possible. Sorry, I thought someone was coming downstairs. But yeah, I am fairly excited about it. But I don't want to ramble too much about it, just because, stuff could change at any point. But that is basically everything I wanted to go over for right now. So with that, I will go ahead and leave you guys and hopefully be back fairly soon with another update. Maybe next update will probably be when I'm starting to accumulate the tables, maybe 2 or 3 at a time, which will let me start to set up some stuff. Now, one last thing, when I do start getting the tables, I'm going to be starting from this side and working my way over to this side, which will it'll be, like I said, it'll be a project, but I'm definitely down to do it, down to try something new, and I am just so ready to not look at a mess. So yeah, that is all for this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed my rambling, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for future Project Bricksburg updates.